You go. Hi, Andres. Good morning.
Hi. Oops. Hi, everybody. Let's see if I can share my screen here. Voila. Seems it works. Hello, everybody. Um, so there's these two guys in Africa, in the savannah. They're walking around, hiking, minding their own business, and suddenly they stop. They're shocked. They see in front of them a huge lion. The lion turns, sees them. He looks very angry, starts to run towards them. Guy number one turns around, starts to sprint away. Guy number two sits on the floor, opens the backpack, and starts to put his sneakers, his sport shoes with spikes on. Guy number one is already running, turns around, sees that, and shouts, "Hey man, do you think you can outrun a lion?" And the guy number two sitting on the floor says, "No, I just have to be faster than you." So for those that think that this is a joke, I will make a commentary a bit later. So hi, I'm Andres. I'm the CEO of DigiPara, as Anna said. And before we start to see the demo, very fast, I will ask you three questions, which is basically to give a bit of background to what we're going to see after. Question number one: do you know your customer's buying journey? Do you know how your customers and your customers, because we're in B2B, find you and acquire products from you? And of course, everybody's saying, of course, we know that this is nothing. Okay, then let's zoom a little bit more in, because the question actually is, can you tell me, I would love to see the answers in the chat. Can you tell me what has changed in the last 8 to 10 years in this buyer's behavior or customer journey? So while you think about that, I will tell you that basically there's tons of market studies about that on internet. You can find the most famous one, of course, is the 2024 McKinsey study that says there's two parameters that are relevant for B2B engineering products. So parameter number one in the customer journey, B2B engineering products, McKinsey states, is the 5 to 10. If you go 10 years back, your customers would expect to find your products and have a little look and educate a little bit before they would get in touch with you, with a salesperson that's trying to sell them. They would expect to find your stuff in 5 different, they call channels, meaning your website, trade shows, maybe magazines, maybe somebody referring. Now, 10 years later, they expect to find your stuff in 10 channels. So we have doubled the amount of expected channels that your customers will search for you, expecting to find your product, to be able to configure your product, to play with them, to put them somehow in the project in early phases and see if it's a fit. And this has doubled. Okay. Meanwhile, there's another number, the number 1/3. So McKinsey states that it is not about if you are on the 10 channels and actually having a complex product like an elevator. You have a configurator and maybe a configurator on a website like BIM Objects and different industry portals. This is about if you don't have that, but your competitors have, the trend, the tendency of your customers will be 1/3 will end up buying where he had a seamless digital journey. So in one sentence, you may lose 1/3 of your potential customers already or in the future if you don't offer them space to play with your product, educate themselves without talking with you, configure, download IFC, Revit files, whatever, stack them in the projects. So this takes us to question number 2. What do people find, potential customers in your region that usually could be a customer, what will they find about you? And we in DigiPara, we are kind of uniquely suited to talk about this. Why? Because since 30 years, we are providing software configurators, elevator configurators for the manufacturing space. And we have witnessed over the last 20 years a migration from people working in a manufacturer, leaving the company, going towards engineering, vertical transportation consultants, architect offices, and being in the department for vertical transportation. What have they done? We're talking hundreds of people. They have called DigiPara and asked again for our software to use our configurator, but not to make quotes anymore, but to create elevators for projects and to compare. So we have somehow, we are still in the manufacturer space, but we have expanded our customer base towards people early phases. And of course, we have hundreds of conversations with these customers, and we kind of know what they expect. And this is absolutely aligned with what McKinsey says. They expect to have much more capacity to play with your products before they get in touch with you. They expect that, and they're not willing to not have it. So this takes us to the last question that I want to ask you. Why would a manufacturer, small, medium, large, or mini, not have a perfect digital journey on his website or in other portals? Why do people not build configurators and it's just a standard? And the answer is pretty simple. It's a huge project. Takes a lot of time, takes a lot of budget, takes resources, internal, external consultants sometimes. IT is involved. It's a big thing. And nobody wants to go down that line. And the good news is today we will prove that everything I said now, big budget, a lot of time, a lot of resources, IT involved, is not needed anymore. My colleague Andreas Fleischmann, the founder of DigiPara, will show you now how to set up a full-fledged configurator in 24 hours on your website or wherever else for a budget that is absolutely fitting in a marketing budget of everybody and with no help from IT or big resources in 24 hours. Andreas, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, Andres. Hello, everybody. I'm seeing the names here in the chat. Great to having you here. I think most of you know, I know personally, probably, or we met in the last 30 years. And yeah, that's a good point, Andres, what you said. Let me share my screen. And so the point is, why don't you have a configurator on your website? What you said, it's a lot of work, it's a big project. Usually it's an IT project and so on. And what we see here today is that you can very easily get a configurator on your website, and with a very small amount of work, especially. And so with this configurator, yeah, can you do more business? This is the topic here of this meeting today. So I would show you what we call Elevatorarchitect White Label, a specific version of our Elevatorarchitect SaaS product. And what we see today in the market, I mean, if I go on any elevator company website, then most of the companies, and this is a fictive company here, Smart Elevators, anywhere you find the download planning and design information, you have some PDFs on the different elevator types that you have, and inside these elevator PDF documents, you find things like that, some detail layouts and some duty table information about the different sizes and speeds and so on. And what I will show today is how you can switch this PDF into a configurator similar to what you see here, where users can quickly customize the lift and make their configuration. So instead of going through this PDF document and understand what you mean in your table and all these *1, *2, where you have specific information. In this case, you cannot do this or this, or add 50 more millimeters to the shaft width in case you have a larger door. Things like that. You all know that you will not need anymore, because users can customize the lift and they can download from here the relevant information. So how does this work? Actually, initially we thought we have 3 steps, but we compressed this to 2 steps. Actually, you have 2 steps. Step number 1 is that you add your data. So how does it work? So let me come back to this PDF document. So I'm sure for every elevator series, you have such a PDF document. And the only thing you need to do is you need to transfer the information from this table into an Excel file. So we have a template Excel file, and you only need to type in the data from your PDF document. And this table not necessarily has 100 columns or so. It's just 20 columns, I would say. Shaft width, car width, door width, and a little bit payload and speed information. And once you have entered all this information, what we have in this Elevatorarchitect is what we call a Lift Designer 3 template builder. So you upload this Excel file, and what this template builder is doing, and this is where the magic begins, is that we automatically create, for each row in this Excel file, we create one of these internally Lift Designer files that is a 3D representation from your 2D PDF document. Once you have done this, you only need to get it on your website. So once you have uploaded this on the platform, you can easily create the configurator to be placed on your website. Therefore, this is what you see here is the standard Elevatorarchitect environment. This is used by architects and also by elevator manufacturers to maintain their data. And under the account settings, you will find something called contract settings. And here you can set up what we call a white label instance. And we can have a view into this white label instance. And here you can customize things like colors of the different buttons and so on. So you can adjust to your colors. And you can also define which files the user is able to be downloaded or can download. So whether you can download PDF, 2D DWG, the BIM IFC in the 3D files, BIM IFC, and Revit families. RFA means a Revit family. Once you have set this up, and let me rerun this video shortly. It's a very short video, but what you see here is that there is some when it goes to this white label, then you see here is some integrate your white label instance. You see these, it looks like source code. And if I go to the next website, you see exactly the same source code. So it's nothing you need to modify. It's just you need to copy. So you copy this piece of source code and place it into your website. And this is what is shown here. This is a fictive web page for this. Let me start this video here for this company, Smart Elevators. And this is the website builder. And what is done here is that in this example, I copied exactly the source code into this area of this website. And then I saved the website page of Smart Elevators. And what you see here is that the web configurator appears here on this website. So I would copy this into the chat here. Oh, so you can try this out if you want. So let me show you. So I will copy this URL here into the chat. So feel free to play around with this. But in the meantime, I show you. So what you see here is that you have the configurator. You can create, as a user of this website, users can create the site. Let's say site in Brussels, anywhere in Belgium. You can choose the region. The region is populated based on where you sell your elevators. And then you say, okay, this is my office building, for example. And users can customize, okay, I want to make an office building and maybe 5 floors. And then finally, elevator group 1, you can customize your elevator. I start with 1 elevator. You see these are the floors of the building. And then only smart elevators model can be chosen here. And this will then automatically create a file, and you have the configurator on your website. So imagine this is your website. So then you immediately get this configurator up and running. The dimensions that you see here in this plan view are exactly the dimensions that were entered into this Excel file. You remember at the beginning of the process, and you have a lot of options here, so you can customize the lift. Let's say you can change the door opening to another door opening. It depends which elevators you have put into the system. So these combo boxes here and selection boxes automatically populate based on what you entered into the Excel file. So if you have in this case, there is obviously no front rear combination. It's not possible to choose, but and you also have the different sections here, the typical vertical sections, to the detailed section, and also the models. And here on the right side, users can download the relevant file. So you can click on download AutoCAD DWG or PDF file. And you also have the BIM model of the relevant configuration. So this is LOD 100, which is more or less just a box. But you see in LOD 200 and LOD 300, you get more details. And what you also can do in this tool, you can easily create elevator groups. So for larger elevator companies that have, let's say, larger groups, they can customize here the lift. And then you have probably left and right openings, things like that. Or users can also create an elevator face-to-face arrangement, for example, like this here. Let me add one more. Then you have a 4-car face-to-face arrangement. And surely the elevators can be different. So it's not necessarily that each elevator has the same payload and speed. So you can also update this, and you see how quick and super simple it is to customize the lift. And this is what your client expects from you, or what he probably not yet expects, but you can really impress your client if your client is able to customize a lift like this here in very short time. And even if you are an elevator manufacturer, your installation companies who are your clients can quicker offer a quotation layout to, how to say, the client of your client, which is maybe the architect or the builder and so on. And this helps a lot in the sales process. And surely you also have the 3D model available at any time, and users can download from here the 3D model. So let me summarize this. So this is already the end of my presentation, and this was a very quick presentation, but it's really a very quick process. So you only need to fill the Excel file. And so based on the PDF that you have, and let me give you one recommendation. Many clients already have this PDF and say, oh, this is a legacy PDF, and we first of all have to make a new PDF with the new dimensions with 5 mm less here and 2 mm less here. And then it becomes an endless process, because before we create this file, there is a lot of discussions, what comes into this table and so on. But my recommendation really is start with what you have. You can, in one day, you can get this on your website and you have it up and running. So you don't need to revise, first of all, everything. At any time you can update this. It's a much better idea than to start and to change first the PDF to the latest version, what you not yet have, and then it takes 6 months before you get the next PDF document. So again, what I showed here today is you only need to fill in the data from these from this PDF document into an Excel file, you upload on our platform, and then you have a configurator on your website ready where you can quickly and easily customize the lift, or users of your website can customize the lift. This will bring clients back to your website regularly because they go to your website and you make use of the tool every day instead of downloading a file and doing something without visiting your website. If there is any question, I'm happy here to help you. Thank you for your time so far. And I will give back to Andres and Anna.
Thank you so much, Andreas. So I think you guys could very quickly see how it works in a very comprised way. So we didn't want to take too much time of your day. This is also, as head of marketing, I can say that this is also such a quick and easy way to get qualified leads. So as soon as they are on your website, you can track them. And it is a very, very good deal for your marketing team as well. Let me check if you have any questions. There are no questions yet. I will give you 1 minute if you have anything you want to share. Otherwise, you guys can always reach out to us if you have anything else you want to share. So let me give you 1 minute. And whilst that, I will pass on to Andres to finish up the presentation.
Hi, you hear me? Super.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andreas. That was a nice and crisp, short presentation. How fast this goes. Our experience is anyway that in a webinar there's not too many questions coming up, and then 2-3 hours later, 2 days later, we start to get all these emails about, hey, I was in the webinar, I have another question, whatever. So feel free to reach out to us. We're here to finalize explaining everything that is unclear if you think about it and it pops up in the coming days. Happy to help. And from DigiPara, we say ciao, ciao, goodbye. Buenas tardes.
Andres, I think you wanted to finish your story with the lion.
I'll do that in the next webinar. I have to run.
Okay, guys.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so
Ciao.
much. Bye-bye.